Thanks for joining us for another edition of The Small Business Show with Jim Fitzpatrick, exclusively on ASBN.com.
Hey everyone, Jim Fitzpatrick. You're watching another edition of The Small Business Show, exclusively right here at ASBN.com. Entrepreneurship starts with an idea that makes a real difference. Today, we are joined by Rebecca Rosenberg, founder and CEO of ReBokeh. She's also a Forbes 2025 30 Under 30 award winner and this year's Eddy Entrepreneur of the Year winner. I'm also joined in the studio by Aarti Sahgal, who's founder and CEO of Synergies Work. They'll share what inspired ReBokeh's mission and what set Rebecca apart for this award and how both are empowering more entrepreneurs with disabilities to chase their dreams. Ladies, thank you so much for joining me on the show today.
Thank you for inviting me.
Great. So let me start with you, if I can, Rebecca, since you're dialing in here, and I appreciate that. What inspired you to start the company?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So I started ReBokeh out of my dorm room in college because I have low vision as a result of albinism, which is a rare genetic condition.
Okay.
And I just felt throughout my life the lack of appropriate assistive technology and accessibility options for people like me. And what I mean when I say that is that I have a serious vision impairment, but I have a lot of really good usable functional sight that I wanted to be able to use. It's the way that my brain works. It's the way that it wants to be able to move through the world, and that those options just weren't really available in any way that made any sense. And so the impetus for ReBokeh was really to build a technology that helps people to make the most of their functional sight in the highly visual world that we live in.
Okay, wow, that's fantastic. And so you started this from your dorm room. I mean, while in college, that's pretty aggressive. I would imagine you're going up against some of the biggest companies out there that are trying to figure this out.
Yeah, I think we really found a unique niche. We're really the only organization, the only company that is building specifically for people with low vision. So specifically people helping them make the most of their functional sight.
Okay.
And we continue to kind of be the primary player in the market alongside a lot of people who are doing really fantastic work in accessibility for people who are blind or people who need to use audio only or tactile only options. There's a lot of good work that's being done there, but we've really carved out this niche in enabling people to use their sight in these highly visual spaces.
Right. I read on your website and your bio and a little bit about the company that there wasn't really much out there for somebody like you for a solution in what you've got, right? And I guess that's what drove you to create this.
Absolutely. There came a day when I was like, I would really like this to exist for myself. And really, I didn't start out to be a founder. I didn't start out this to be an entrepreneur. I wanted to build something that I wanted for me. And it turned out very quickly that other people liked it. And that was, I think, a very crazy day and a really interesting realization that we were moving towards something that mattered to more people than just me. Right. And then being able to say, okay, sounds like we're doing something here. Yeah. And then being able to share that with the world. That
is fantastic. And obviously you're bringing a solution to so many people out there. In fact, how big is the market of people that have got low vision?
We estimate that there's more than 25 million Americans with low vision.
Wow.
And that doesn't even begin to consider that everybody over 45 has like regular, normal, age-related vision deterioration that happens. Right. And that's another enormous percentage of the population. And so this really is just an enormous problem that it's crazy to me that we haven't solved yet until our company came along. So.
It needed Rebecca Rosenberg to come along and figure this whole thing out. That's great. That's great. And so for those that are not as familiar with the Eddy Awards, Aarti, tell us a little bit about what they're all about and how they got started.
So Eddy is an event that we host as an organization, Synergies Work, which spotlights entrepreneurs like Rebecca and many others who are really doing innovative work but do not get the spotlight and do not get to the reason behind the Eddies is really to bring the business community and the disability community together. We, in our work in the past 5 to 6 years, have realized that entrepreneurs with disabilities do not have access to whether it is the content that is the education that is required, or it is the community, the big community that many people take for granted,
Sure. No question.
or the capital that is required. Even today, the kind of VC funding that is going to disability innovation is less than 1%.
Sure.
I know ReBokeh has had the access to the knowledge and the community maybe, but the funding is still there. As an organization, when we look at Eddy Awards, it's an acronym for Entrepreneurs Dedicated to Diverse and Inclusive Excellence.
Okay.
We look at all people with disabilities, and we look at 5 categories. That is technology, creativity, social impact, small business startups which are less than 2 years old, and then even small brick and mortar businesses.
Okay.
So that way we are, when we say all people with disabilities, we're including all disabilities.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
And
Wow.
so that's how the Eddies, and that's the main purpose of Synergies Work also, leveling the playing field.
That's fantastic.
For equal talent.
Sure. And I think you've got kind of a personal story that gave you and put you on this mission, right? Talk to us about that.
Yeah, I think like ReBokeh, good innovation starts, and I'm saying it good, I'm crediting it here, starts with a need.
Yeah.
And I have 2 sons, and my youngest son has Down syndrome. And I realized very early in life, raising him up, that there are actually 2 worlds that coexist amongst us, one for people with disabilities and one without, and I couldn't wrap my head around it.
Right.
So I've spent the past 20 years plus trying to navigate and understand why these worlds are coexisting. Why can't there be same opportunities for everybody?
Sure.
And so in the last 5 years, 6 years, I realized that entrepreneurship is not, intentionally opening up doors for people with disabilities in a world where there are so many accelerators. If there is a person who is not comfortable walking through the doors of those accelerators, then we have a problem.
Exactly. For
and
sure.
I might say that we have large visions and missions that everybody is welcome. If there is no intentionality behind that vision, it becomes sometimes very difficult for people to access this knowledge. So
I would imagine.
Synergies Work started with that intent, that how do we invest in the margins so that everybody can benefit.
Of course.
It's like what ReBokeh just said, and I felt like, oh my God, that's right. It was not just for herself that she found this innovation. Now that she has found the innovation, I can use ReBokeh's.
That's right. So can I.
I am in that 45 plus category.
That's right.
I was like, she was like, I need to get access to her app.
Yeah, there's no question about it. And wow, it's such an exciting program, and one that's needed for sure. Let me ask you, ReBokeh, I would imagine you found it somewhat difficult to go out and find the funding and the support that you needed and everything else. Talk to us about that.
Yeah, I think it's always a challenge. In some ways, I was lucky because I did start this company as a student. I actually worked on ReBokeh while I was a student at 2 different universities. So finishing up my undergrad degree at Bucknell, and then I moved to Baltimore, where I am coming to you live from today, to get my master's degree at Johns Hopkins. And I was lucky that there were strong entrepreneurial programs and opportunities for students at those institutions. And I think that really helped me go from an engineering student who didn't actually know anything about business or what I was doing to a relatively confident startup founder and somebody who felt like I was in a position to be a successful CEO. That being said, especially something like funding is always going to be a challenge, but I have found it to be even yet extra of a challenge.
Sure.
When you are operating and serving a market that people don't necessarily know exists.
Right.
The thing about low vision specifically, and this is, I think, oftentimes similar to disability on a whole, they're so often invisible. And so for somebody like me, you probably wouldn't know just by meeting me for just a few moments that I have a disability.
Right.
And as a result of that, people sometimes don't know we exist. And so you go into a room of like VCs and you pitch this enormous problem and you share with them your vision and your traction and all of these things. And they're like, I've never met somebody with low vision. And I'm like, hello.
Yeah, right. Hello.
I'm right here.
That's right. Here's your
First of all,
right.
I'm right here. Second of all, I'm sure that's not true. I'm sure you just didn't know.
That's right.
And so trying to convince people that the size of the problem really is large enough is definitely, I think, one of the biggest challenges, especially when we're dealing with invisible disabilities. And I think organizations like Synergies Work and the Eddie Awards really help to showcase not only how many people are in this community, but also all of the amazing things that we do and that we can do. And also, reminding us that disabilities look different across every person.
No question about it. Did you ever feel as though your disability would hold you back from sitting in a founder's chair or a CEO's chair? Was that ever, in your mind? You said, "Oh, I've got a disability. I don't see myself as the founder of a company because of that."
No.
Okay.
And I know
good.
I have to give my parents quite a bit of credit. I think they knew that I was like never going to be a fighter pilot. But I think beyond things where there were really like legitimate practical implications.
Yeah.
They were very supportive. They were like, you're going to do whatever you want to do. And, we're going to help make sure that you have what you need to do whatever it is that you want to do.
Sure.
I think it also helped that I snowballed into this role. It wasn't something I like chose to do one day. It was like, okay, this seems to be working. Let's keep going. And it just built on itself one little step at a time.
Okay.
And I think that helped with the confidence building as well.
Yeah, no question about it. You handle yourself so incredible that you should be the founder of a company. I love your enthusiasm and your story. So, Aarti, what was it about Rebecca's company that led her to win the award this year?
Oh, no, that's a tough one. I think all the applications.
Well, you just watch her and you're like, it's self-explanatory.
Exactly.
But,
yeah. No, I might not be the best person to answer this. The way the Eddie Awards are judged are that we invite independent business leaders from across the country. There was Al McRae, who's the president of Bank of America, Stephen Ewell, who is the executive director of CTA Foundation.
That's fantastic.
Our board members, Brian Claggett, Shaker Moen, who's the president of North America Coca-Cola, somebody from the credit unions, Melissa. And so all of these people from all different walks of life, including our past Eddie recipients, Lachi, who runs the music outfit here out of New York, all of them were weighing in on these applications. There was an independent scoring. I kind of just moved away from it. I did not know who was the winner. But each of the finalists, we say it, and I can't impress enough, was exemplary.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
And
wow.
It's
got to be such a tough decision.
It just
I would not want to be in that room, right?
Yeah, we can only crown one person
because
who got the maximum votes, but I think everybody is fantastic.
How does that make you feel, Rebecca, when you've got all of these heavyweights in corporate America today, and then they're saying, this is going to be the next winner, we're totally impressed with you?
Yeah, I mean, it's just such an honor, and it continues to inspire me and our company and our team that people continue to see value in what we do, that we have set ourselves up and we've done enough to kind of, in many ways, I feel like, prove that this is a population of people, that ReBokeh is serving a population of people worth serving. And I feel like it just serves to prove that we are moving closer to having more people understand that this is a population that's worth serving.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic.
If I might just add
go right ahead.
Yeah,
Yep.
I would say absolutely, not just the low vision population, but when we talk about the disability population itself, I can't help but tell that that's, by some estimates, it's like 13 trillion is the spending power of people with disabilities globally. In
13 trillion.
13 trillion, which
gosh,
is bigger
wow.
than that of the Chinese economy.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
And United States forms a huge chunk of that spending power. So it's not about doing good, it is business sense to look at this population and everybody else who's working with this population.
No question about it. I'll ask each one of you this, but Rebecca, I'll start with you. What advice do you have for others that might be watching today that have got a disability and not feeling that confident that they can go out and conquer the world with a new business or start a new business? What advice do you have?
I think people with disabilities are the most qualified people to be startup founders that there possibly are. I don't know a single person with a disability who does not have to overcome barriers and challenges and just like little problems that nobody else understands in their everyday life the way that a startup founder does.
Yeah.
Is not a group of people that is more resilient. There is not a group of people that is more, frankly, risk tolerant than people with disabilities. I think it's more of an argument of, if you have a disability, why shouldn't you start a company?
That's the attitude to have, right?
That is.
You
I
have
love it.
all of the tools that you need to be successful built in, probably a lot earlier in life than most other people.
Right. It's great advice, and I know that the thousands of small business owners right now, or those that are thinking about jumping into their own business, you are such an inspiration, because they're saying, well, wait a minute, I don't have a disability. My disability lies in my own mind.
Yeah, that's right.
Right? And I'm my own worst enemy. Here's this young lady, this beautiful young lady with a disability and flourishing as the CEO of her own company. So what's my excuse, right?
Exactly.
What advice would you have for those out there that are watching us?
I'll ride on what Rebecca said, that for any entrepreneur to be successful, what is required?
Right.
Grit, determination,
That's right.
and a brilliant idea.
That's right.
And people with disabilities are naturally innovators because they are grappling with solutions, and they're living in a world that is not created for them.
Right.
Every day they're thinking innovatively how to look at obstacles that are thrown at them. No entrepreneur has a script written out for them, and they have to pivot every day.
That's right.
And that's, I think, the secret sauce of success for entrepreneurs with disabilities.
Yeah. They've been preparing all life, all from the time they were born, basically.
Yeah. And that's the reason why we see that they are more likely to start their businesses. But unfortunately, they're also more likely to fail through, because the world is not growing as fast as people with disabilities are coming up with innovative ideas.
That's right.
And all our technology that we use today, including the laptop or the electric toothbrush that you might have used in the morning, are rooted in access.
Right.
They were rooted in the disability community, which has grown to where millions of us are using it every day. Just like Rebecca's brilliant app.
That's right.
You have me and many others who will be using it, though we might not have the disability.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. Do we get a discount of any kind?
Yeah.
Or how do we? I mean, I'm over 55. Maybe I can get a 55, over 55 discount.
So you give me a good in here to talk just briefly. So the basic version of ReBokeh is free. Anybody can download it onto their iOS device.
Wow, that's great.
We actually sell it into organizations.
Okay.
So museums, zoos, aquariums, airports, stadiums. And when you enter into those places with the free version on your device, you're automatically getting full access to the enterprise version, sponsored by our all access partners. So those organizations. So
that's
you
fantastic.
Discount on free, whatever you want.
That is amazing.
Fantastic. In fact, one of them I think is the aquarium right here in Atlanta, Georgia, right?
The Georgia Aquarium is one of our all access partners. They're fantastic, as well as the Fernbank Museum.
That's right.
In Decatur, and maybe one or two more coming soon that I can't quite share yet.
That's right. Soon to be a lot more. Where is the company in 5 years from now? If we were talking to you 5 years from now, it's now 2030. What does the company look like?
I think we're really excited to bring this technology into every what we call highly visual space. And you can imagine what those look like. It's anything from an arena to a stadium to zoos and aquariums and museums to the type of organizations we work with.
Right.
Such that somebody who either lives in Atlanta or is visiting Atlanta has access to ReBokeh while they're trying to navigate the chaos of the Atlanta airport.
Right.
Has ReBokeh as they're trying to find their Uber to leave the airport, and then can use it throughout their time in the city to experience anything from ordering a coffee to going to the Georgia Aquarium,
Sure.
and then is able to use it to get back, to have a really seamless and independent experience where they don't have to worry about relying on somebody else to read them what coffee orders are available or tell them how much the merch is in the Georgia Aquarium store.
Right.
So that they can have that full experience completely independently and not even have to think twice about it.
Right. So we're going to be reading about you probably in the next couple of years where some major conglomerate scooped you up for a couple of $1 billion, right? and you'll be on to your next venture.
And she'll be making a donation to Synergies.
Hopefully, that's right. That's right. You got to give back, right? Time to give back. No, that is that is fantastic. Rebecca Rosenberg, founder and CEO of ReBokeh, also Forbes 2025 30 under 30. Boy, this girl's an overachiever, man.
Really?
I feel bad for your parents. They must be so worried about you, And of course, this year's winner of the Eddie Entrepreneur of the Year Award. We're so proud of you. Congratulations. Love to have you back in to do a follow-up to see how things are going. And of course, Aarti Sahgal, who is the founder and CEO of Synergies Work. Keep up the great work. Wow.
Thank you so much.
Oh my God, the opportunities that you're given is incredible. So thank you so much, both of you. Really appreciate it.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Rebecca.
Thanks for joining us for another edition of The Small Business Show with Jim Fitzpatrick, exclusively on ASBN.com.